Rank of the 7 Spellblades Volume 5 Review. After 3 action-packed books, Volume 4 of Rank of the 7 Spellblades took a step back to give both the cast and us readers a chance to collect ourselves and enjoy a story that was on the lighter side of things. Now Volume 5 is here and it watches no time diving into a dark new storyline. This book puts the world learning magic at Kirby Magic Academy at the back seat as we return to one of the plot points for Volume 1. Oliver wanting to take revenge on those responsible for his mother's death. This time around, our protagonist has his sights set on Professor Enrico Forgieri, who's got a reputation for being a mad scientist. This is something Oliver gets to see for himself when he sees Whisk Pete off to his laboratory after class one day. Enrico is a powerful mage who puts his love of science into his spellcraft, creating golems to fight for him in various ways. This makes him one of the more powerful enemies in Oliver's roadmap to revenge, but equally what is worth taking him out now when his targets are concerned about being targeted by the mysterious murderer. Will we readers know to obey Oliver, who took out the teacher at the start of the series? Will be difficult, given that Enrico fights in a manner completely unlike anything our protagonist has faced so far, but that's what makes it all the more interesting for us readers. So the majority of this volume is focused on Oliver preparing for and embarking in his pursuit on Enrico, but that doesn't mean that's all that happens this time around. We also get to see our protagonist and his friends try to tame griffins in their magical biology class, which is not a simple task. They also learn about Gnostics, powerful monsters not for this planet basically, and Gnostic hunters, those tasked with hunting them. It turns out that Oliver has a connection to a famous Gnostic hunter, which also fits back into the storyline being told in this book. Finally, we understand Oliver's motivation, which is the one thing we've been missing. Honestly speaking, I am happy that author Bokuto Ono has returned to the storyline since it was one of the things I found most interesting about Volume 1. On Rank of the 7 Spellblades, Oliver presents himself as a fairly average nice guy to his friends and classmates, but there was a darkness hidden underneath, but they'll only see when he's thinking about those he needs to kill. The more time Oliver spends with his friends, the more difficult it's becoming for him to keep that hardened mindset of a killer, and eventually this will become to a head with his friends and find out the truth. I'm sure Oliver and Nana will come to blows, give her stance and justice and her single-minded personality, which they can wait to see even if that's probably not until close to the end of the series. The confrontation is more or less what I keep reading the series. Sure, I enjoy the Magic Academy aspects and how well written the books are, but when the push comes to shove, what I really want to see is more of the side of the story where Oliver is of being a villain. So I'm glad the author came back to it, and if it has taken several books, I imagine Volume 6 will go back to following the cast everybody's school life, which is by no means a bad thing after the events of this one. Rank of the 7 Spellblades Volume 5 comes to the West thanks to Yen France and continues to be translated by Andrew Cunningham. The translation reads well and no issues to note. Volume 6 of the series is scheduled for the English release on the 6th of September, so not too long to go. Overall, Rank of the 7 Spellblades Volume 5 proves one of the more interesting entries in the series as it returns to a storyline I've been eager to see more of since the first book. Not only does it offer a fantastic fight, but it sets out well for the future of the series, as questions we've had since the start are finally being answered. 9 out of 10.